Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of the Illinois Post-Secondary Profiles. The Illinois Post-Secondary Profiles can be located at illinoispostsecondaryprofiles.com. If you are visiting the site during our secure preview period, you'll be presented by a landing screen or a home page that welcomes you and provides you some information about the public pilot, but is not interactive and does not allow click-through. You'll need to click on the login button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen and use the login credentials provided you by your institution or by your contacts at the Illinois Board of Higher Education, the Illinois Community College Board, the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, or the Illinois Interactive Report Card offices at Northern Illinois University. You can contact those offices for follow-up if you are from an institution that is participating in the preview and you would like to obtain the credentials. Once logging in with those preview credentials, you'll see that the screen now has become interactive. My little pointer indicates that I can click here on this icon and I can enter data now into this text screen. The homepage is simple, provides a bit of information about current and future development of the site. It presents some use cases. We have some nice images presented in a visual scroll and information about the sponsoring partners of the project. The project is underwritten by the Illinois Board of Higher Education and the Illinois Community College Board, with the Illinois Interactive Report Cards office at Northern Illinois University providing the management and implementation support. Data is also being provided by the Illinois Student Assistance Commission and other partners, and we thank them for their support. In the upper menu, the About button will pull up a PDF that shows you a development profile of the site, including some references to future development and information about current information included in current metrics included on the site and metrics that are planned for near-term implementation. It also provides you options for contacting offices regarding the IPP. And please feel free to take advantage of those contact opportunities. We welcome your feedback. More about that as we move through the site. This PDF is reproducible or distributable, and feel free to use it as you see fit. The help link, I'm not going to click on it. The help pages are under construction, but the help link will take you to our help system that will include this system walkthrough, some assistance videos, some frequently asked questions section, a data dictionary / glossary, and a subsystem for reporting issues with the site, as well as contact information for obtaining more assistance. The Contact Us button will launch an email window, as is traditional in this day and age, and put you into contact with our offices. If I were interested in immediately exploring data and I knew the institution that I wanted to explore, I could begin typing the name of that institution. It will return, based on a text search, the name of both locations, be they cities or counties, and or institutions in the database that you can click on to select and move immediately to their profile pages. You can also click on this large Institutional Profiles button in the top right of the screen to search by the name of the school or particular criteria. So let's take a look at that. On this screen we have several options. We can again enter the school name as we did previously. We can click to view a full list of all 310 schools currently in the system. We can click here to search by location. On this screen I can enter a city, a county, or a zip code, and then select a radius, and immediately limit my search results to those institutions that have home campuses in the specified radius. Returning to the criterion selection screen, I can now apply criteria to this list of institutions. If I'd like to search this way, I can select public, for example, and limit my 310 institutions across the database to the 66 institutions within the database that are public. If I choose again to limit that to the 2-year institutions, it limits those results to 50. If I choose 4-year, I'm down to 14. The I can also elect to filter results based on whether the institution is degree granting or not. There are many vocational preparation schools in the database that offer credentials, but not necessarily degrees. I can select to filter and only provide results that are MAP eligible. A MAP student assistance program is a strong program in Illinois, and you can filter results based on those institutions that are eligible to participate. You can choose to filter results based on the type of credential offered or type of degree, in this case, offered at the institution, and select those. If I were, for example, interested in 4-year institutions that offer doctoral degrees, I would reduce my total from the 14 4-year publics to the 10 among them that offer doctoral degrees. I can also use this slider to filter results based on the annual cost of attendance, if I have a particular range in mind that I'd like to use as the basis for a search. To return to where we were, we had indicated an interest in taking a look at the College of DuPage. So if I type their name into the search window again, I can click on that name and be taken to their profile. The profile page for any institution will be quite similar in structure, but different in content. The 2-year institutions show this group of teaser metrics: annual student enrollment, student advancement rate, in-district tuition and fees, and all completions as a raw count. Those are each defined by hovering over the information button. And in addition, some teaser visualizations of enrollment broken down by student type and by ethnicity, with a nod to the source of the data for these metric displays. The ICCB centralized data system is the primary data source for many of the metrics presented for the 2-year institutions, thanks to the Illinois Student Assistance Commission for providing information that is helping us round out the affordability section, and other data sources will make themselves a part of the system in the next stages of development. Here on the right side of the screen, you see information about the home campus, a link to its primary website, and an interactive map of its location. At the base of the screen, you see institutional details. These institutional details have been imported from IPEDS, the national database, as well as being supplemented by information from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission and on occasion from the ICCB centralized data system. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll see quick links that are all extracted from the relevant table in the IPEDS directory that take you to subsections of the institutional websites that you are looking at on the profile page. So this would take you to the College of DuPage's admissions page, or their application information page, or their financial aid page, etc. Each of the institutions in the system has metric data provided, broken down into a variety of categories. The first category for all institutions will be enrollment. For the 2-year institutions, the enrollment display defaults to annual enrollment and a 5-year trend. Annual enrollment in this case selected as a result of a reflection of traditions for data reporting in the 2-year institutional community. But both annual and fall enrollment data are available, both as 5-year trends and broken down by age, ethnicity, and gender as well. If I were to select here to break this data down, or these data down by ethnicity, I would see the 9 primary ethnicity categories reported federally, represented as a snapshot or a 3-year trend. And in both cases for enrollment data, reported regardless of the size of the resulting number, enrollment numbers are reported publicly, and so there is no data suppression applied to our enrollment screens. Below, you'll see that these data are sortable based on the type of credential that a student has enrolled and declared an interest in. So if I were interested in viewing general associate degree enrollment for 2-year institutions, I'd be able to isolate that or combine that with other types of credentials. Below each display, you'll see an explanation of that display, and on all displays, you'll see the data source for the information contained within, confirmed on screen. For each of the metrics, you'll also see a confirmation of the data year or the data period for which the information is being reported. Various individual metrics in different categories across the site are updated or represent different time periods based on the pace of update of that information from the data source. Enrollment data, for example, are updated more quickly than completion data. So enrollment data here is being represented for the 2017-18 school year as one of the earliest metrics moving to that school year of presentation at the federal level. If I click on affordability, I'll see a screen for tuition and fees. That also includes a breakdown of cost per credit hour. For the 2-year institutions, Pell eligibility and receipt rates, and MAP eligibility and receipt rates. You'll notice for the MAP eligibility and receipt table, you also have available a breakdown that provides you the ability to see these data represented overall, and then broken down based on the financial aid status of the students in question, whether they are dependent or independent students. Under progress for the 2-year institutions, we see credit accumulation, available again disaggregated by age, ethnicity, and gender, and reported for those students successfully completing 24 credit hours in the 2017-18 school year, or 30 credit hours, both of which are benchmarks for college success and completion. You will note on this, data suppression has been applied. Progress is not a category for which low ends are publicly reported, and so data suppression has been applied to a variety of age categories in this display because the underlying values have fallen below 10. For the 2-year institutions, we are also reporting fall to spring retention and fall to fall retention. The 2-year institutions are providing information on advancement. This is a category of data that is not present in the displays for the 4-year institutions. Advancement is reported for 3 consecutive cohorts of students. The students beginning their matriculation in the 2013-14 school year, 14-15 or 15-16. And again, these data will be updated to 16-17 or 17-18 as soon as the underlying system data is available. Again, presented overall. And in this case, disaggregable by age, ethnicity, gender, Pell status, or remedial status. How is advancement defined? How do we differentiate between those students who did not advance successfully and those who did? Well, that's explained both in the explanation of display below and explained on mouse over for any of the relevant data sets. So you'll see here that students who did not advance were simply students who did not complete a degree or credential in the given school year, and additionally are no longer enrolled in the institution. Students are designated as successfully advancing if they completed a credential or degree that took fewer than 2 years, a credential or degree between 2 and 4 years in length, did not complete a credential or degree but did transfer out successfully to another institution, and did not complete a credential or degree but are still enrolled at the institution that you're viewing. For the 2-year institutions, completion data is available and is displayed in much the same way as enrollment data. Defaults to a 5-year trend, is disaggregable by age, ethnicity, or gender. And the completion screens allow for the filtration of results by credential or degree type. So if I am interested in looking at completion data for those students who completed long-term certificates, I can select just that, or any combination of degree and credential programs or types. Again, as I mentioned, disaggregable by age, ethnicity, or gender, available in a snapshot or trend line, and much as was the case with enrollment data, not suppressed for low-end results because those results are publicly available. There's a bit of difference between the displays available for 2-year and 4-year institutions. If we pop over to NIU, we'll see that completion data is now, in addition to being represented in the same ways, 5-year trend and broken down by age, ethnicity, and gender, is also available broken down into graduate and undergraduate completions with a subsequent reclassification of the kinds of degrees and credentials that you can use to filter and sort the data. You notice, as I mentioned before, no advancement screen. Under progress, if we move back up through the categories, we'll see a slightly different representation or slightly different categories for the 4-year institutions. Fall to fall retention, which was one of the categories for the 2-year institutions, and graduation rate. Affordability includes the same tuition and fees, Pell eligibility and receipt, and MAP eligibility and receipt, but now includes a screen for a net cost of attendance. And enrollment, which, similar to completions, is broken down into graduate and undergraduate enrollment, and now for the 4-year institutions defaults to fall enrollment rather than annual enrollment. Again, a reflection of the reporting traditions in the 4-year institution group. You'll notice on every page on the site there is a persistent feedback button in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. That feedback button is yours, and we encourage you to use it in as many instances as you deem necessary. Complement the site, make constructively critical suggestions about design changes, point out data inaccuracies or data irregularities. To do any of those things, you simply click on the feedback button, provide a summary of your comments, provide an extended description. If you find it helpful, attach a file to the submission, and then provide us your contact email. We are using a full customer service subsystem in connection with the IPP. Your report will be entered into a customer service queue, and we will be responding to those entries with either a confirmation of your compliment, a confirmation that your issue has been noted, or a request for additional information. We might follow up with you to attempt to learn more about your concern or about your suggestions so that we can fully understand your submission. Again, please feel free to use that feedback button as often as you'd like. You are welcome to submit many comments and submit as frequently as you would like. The last feature that I'd like to highlight in the walkthrough is the View Schools Side-by-Side feature. The View Schools Side-by-Side feature takes you back to a filter window and allows you to select multiple institutions and to view selected metrics for those institutions side by side. So if I, for example, were to click on Public and For Year again, I can select up to 8 schools to display with Northern Illinois University. So I might, if I just click on the first couple, I can also display institutions side by side with NIU that are 2-year, that are non-degree granting, and that are wholly different in their base structure than NIU. The ability to display these institutions side by side is not restricted by category. As I build my list, you'll see I have the ability to add up to 8 institutions to display side by side with NIU, which is the institution from within which, whose page I initiated the process. If I click on View List, I see those 5 institutions side by side. The screens have been designed so that when you expand individual categories, any other category that of metric data that is being viewed will close and the screen will realign so that it's easy to view the data for those institutions at once. So under enrollment, you see overall enrollment, enrollment disaggregated by ethnicity. Under affordability, we see net cost of attendance and undergraduate tuition and fees. Under progress, we see year 1 to year 2 retention. Under completion, we see raw numbers of completions in 2 and 4 years. And you may note here where I see that I added Blackhawk, advancement, you will see advancement rates and the advancement broken down, rates broken down by ethnicity. Obviously, there is no parallel data available for the 4-year institutions, so nothing is displayed there when I activate that pull down for advancement. There's little space here within which to confirm data sources, so all the data sources for the side-by-side viewing portion of the system are all confirmed by clicking on this data source button. I can remove any of the institutions from my side-by-side view just by clicking on the X. I can return to my search screen to add additional institutions to my list just by clicking back to list. And I can click back to profile to return back to the profile page that I was viewing originally for NIU. The site is constantly undergoing updates. At this stage, we're in a period of explosive growth, so forgive us if a particular screen has a different appearance by the time you view the site than was represented here in the walkthrough. It is a period of explosive growth. Please feel free again to report any issues or provide any supportive commentary that you'd like to provide so that we can use your feedback to continue the process of improving the site into the future in 2019 and 2020. If you do view the About document, you'll see reference in the About document to 2 more profile paths, and we're looking forward to rolling out 2 more ways of viewing data in the Illinois Post-Secondary Profile tool in the near future. To view these data by professional interest or academic major area as represented by 2-digit zip codes, and to analyze these data by demography. So if you have an interest in examining enrollment patterns in the state of Illinois for marketing majors, where do they attend? Or if you're interested in looking at the enrollment patterns or completion patterns of a particular group of students, African American students, for example, or male students, for example, these paths will soon be available as upgrades to the Illinois Post-Secondary Profile tool. In addition, you'll see a representation here of additional metrics that will soon be available in the system. And it's entirely likely by the time you view the system, some additional features will have been added. Near-term upgrades include the ability to export the data from any of these screens to Microsoft Excel or to a printable PDF, and other system enhancements. But enough. You've been very patient. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in Illinois Post-Secondary Profiles. We would be very excited to hear from you, to gauge your reaction and your reasons for being interested in the tool. Feel free to contact us at our offices, or to click on the feedback button and submit that feedback electronically. We look forward to seeing you in the future, hearing from you, and hearing about your interest in the IPP. Thank you, and have a great day.